All right, what's going on, guys? I'm sure you read the title. Today we're going on a field trip. I'll explain more once we get on the road, but we're going to be talking about facts, reality, and what's really going on. So, I mean, if you don't like reality, which I guess a lot of people don't nowadays, yeah, don't watch the video. But if you want to know what's really going on, stick around. I'll explain. You know, when you were a kid, you used to love field trips. We're going on a field trip. Get the frig in the car. We're going. All right, so I'm at the gas station. You know that thing where you can just like pump gas in maybe 30 seconds to a minute and then go like 350, 400 miles. My car here is from 2004. It's almost 20 years old. It's got 100,000 miles. Now, according to Tavares and other people that have a 1,000,000-mile UZ motor, this thing should outlive me. I should never have to buy a new car, theoretically. I filled up gas about a week ago, and I still have 3/4 of a tank, so I guess I'm not even gonna fill up. It's colder now than ever before, so I mean, I guess global warming's gonna start up next year or next summer or something. I'm not really sure when global warming starts, but whenever it does start, I guess I'll know. But right now, I guess it's taking a pause right now. I guess I'm just gonna go in the store and get a snack. I mean, if you guys want anything, I got something for you, but I'll be right back. I brought up the weather earlier because if you park your electric car outside, the car's battery has to heat itself to maintain itself, and if you park it in the heat, it has to cool itself to not overheat. The cold destroys a electric car battery. The heat also can make it overheat and have a thermal meltdown. Lots of electric skateboards, scooters, bicycles, they're all being recalled because the lithium batteries, they just melt down, and if you have them in your house, they're gonna explode, burn down, thermal runaway. You can't stop thermal runaway. A Tesla or whatever burns down, the fire truck can't even put it out. And if you have an electric car, where do you think the energy is produced? Today we're going to go, like I said, on a field trip, and I'm going to show you where in a major city energy is produced. Now, I'm not hating on how energy is produced, but you guys need to take a little dose of reality. All these new Cybertruck, the Hummer electric truck, the Ford Lightning, big fail. I hate talking junk about America, but Ford, what were you thinking making an all-electric truck and then making it seem like it was a worker's truck? Like, that's, I don't understand how it got out of even the planning room. If you would have made like the Lightning Raptor or something, that would have been cool, because then you could have not had payload. People wouldn't even have used it to tow. People don't really use a Raptor to tow unless they're just flexing on people. The whole problem with the Ford Lightning is they advertise it as a truck, and no one's going to use it as a truck. They're going to use it as a car. And even as a car, it's just, it's not a good one. You can't go far. I'm not sure how far my range is. I got 1/4 of a tank. I've driven 132 miles since refill. I still got 300 miles of range, and I didn't even fill up. So, and this is a V8. It's from 2004. I think I paid $60 to fill up the tank, and gas is expensive right now. Hold on, let me go see how much gas is, because they're working on this gas station. Why are they working on the gas station? I don't know, probably because they plan to sell gas for a long time. Like, that's way too expensive right now. I don't know if anyone from Saudi Arabia or anything's watching, but you guys are gonna be in trouble if you don't start selling gas at the right price again. I don't know if you remember what happened to Libya and, you know, all that area, but it's That's one thing you don't, like, okay, I understand people in Saudi Arabia, you probably think our president's like a huge doofus. We all think our president's a huge doofus, but as America, like, there's one thing that we just, you know, we get cheap gas. And if you don't give us cheap gas, unfortunately things just go like wrong. Like, it's, yeah. If I were anyone in power, you know, I'd start thinking about selling gas for cheaper, because you never know what's gonna happen. All right, merging on the highway right now. We should be there in about 30 minutes, and you're gonna see what I'm talking about. Charlotte's a big city. There's a Tesla dealership. You know, you can get whatever electric car you want here. There is decent infrastructure, but I mean, I don't know. It still takes like 30-40 minutes to charge up a whole car, even with all the power here. And I don't know, you know, I'm not gonna like hearing the woo sound. I like to hear a motor sound when I'm driving. But so yeah, I paid $60 or whatever to fill up my tank about a week ago or something. Still got lots of tank left. Took 30 seconds for me, a minute to fill up. My car didn't have to manage its battery power. The whole using other energy to store battery power is dumb. People are all like, oh, green energy this, green energy that. Here's the problem with green energy, okay? There is no such thing as green energy. To create a solar panel, you need to create so much waste in the future and so much, I don't even know how to describe it, manufacturing. You need to transport the things. You need a facility to make the solar panels. So then you make the solar panel, and then what? It lasts 10 years, and then you need to destroy the whole thing, and it's non-recyclable. You can't just be like, oh, I'll take the bits out. No, it's like not recyclable. So you put solar panels, let's say you're stupid enough to finance your solar panels onto your roof, and you're like, oh, I'll finance them for 30 years. Man, like, by the time 10 years goes by, your solar panels are worthless, and you realize, man, I made a bad investment. And then you go to sell your house because you're like, I just want out of this thing. And you realize that even your realtor will tell you that no one wants to buy a house with solar panels drilled through the roof. You're like, oh, these people are professional. No, most people that sell solar panels are, I'm not even gonna describe what they are. They're not good people. They don't do good things. And yeah, if you want to look up what really goes on in the solar industry, you look it up yourself. But so you go to sell your house and you realize that the people that installed your solar panels, they had no idea what they're doing. They just screwed screws through your roof, and now you want to take the solar panels off or something because no one wants to buy your house with old used solar panels. And then you realize you need a new roof because they destroyed your roof. Man, what a concept. Cruising on the highway, I'm driving a big V8, loud pipes, you know the thing. And I'm getting 30 miles per gallon going 70. Now that's not saying that like in the city I don't get like negative miles per gallon, but this car is one of the most efficient cars. It was the most efficient V8 car ever made when it was produced. There was nothing better than it. I'm getting almost 32 miles per gallon right now. At 70, 65, you can get some pretty insane gas mileage. And I'm going uphill actually right now. You can't really tell. We're going up a tiny bit of grade, and I'm still getting the better and or the as good as the stated miles per gallon. I'm actually like passing people. People are going slower. I think the speed limit is actually slower on this road. Okay, so unfortunately I made it to the plant that I wanted to record, and you're not actually able to get near it, go figure, without credentials and stuff. So I'm gonna try and go across the river and or somewhere else to try and get a better view of the plant. Dang, look at that car. All right, so right now, as you can see by the power lines, and then if we pan over here, see those big stacks over there? We're at the Allen Plant Steam Station. This is on the Catawba River. The Catawba River would be somewhere over there. This is a coal-fired steam power plant, you know? The only way the energy is produced, so the only way energy is produced, you either heat it with heating rods like nuclear power, or you heat water with coal, which would be this plant. In Charlotte, we get 90% of our energy from coal and nuclear power. I want to say this produces 27% of the energy that we use. This powers the whole region. As you can see, they are not slowing down. And why would they? They're working right now, as you can hear in the background, on making the power plant bigger. And/or I think this would be over here would be a drainage basin or not drainage, but you know, I have actually no idea what they're doing. The thing about coal is the byproduct of coal is coal ash, so they need somewhere to safely store the ash. So right now I'm pretty sure they're just digging like a basin to hold the ash, so whatever's in the ash doesn't just seep down into the environment. I have nothing against coal, you know. The earth produces energy, whether we want to use it or not. Below the crust, there's the mantle, and it's very hot. The lower you go, it just keeps getting hotter and hotter. Yes, underground, if you dig like a cellar or something, it is cooler, but that is because you are then protected from the radiant heat of the sun. As you go deeper, the earth is just immensely hot. The core is like just, you know, like mega hot, hottest thing ever other than like the sun. So the earth is constantly producing energy, like coal, oil, you know, things like that. How oil was discovered was, you know, we just like tapped a hole into the ground and it just started like spurting oil. A lot of the times, like, I don't know if you've ever seen the intro to Beverly Hillbillies, they just like friggin' shot a hole and it started shooting oil. Like, I know that's a little like out of the ordinary. It's like sort of, it's for like TV, but that is sort of how oil was discovered. And once they discovered that oil was right below the surface, people like the Rockefellers and, you know, whoever, they just were like, yeah, this is money. You can get to a point where you're sucking too much oil out of the ground, but it's not like it's ever going to run out. People are always like, oh, we're gonna run out of water, oh, we're gonna run out of this and that. There is nothing that we are going to run out of. We will constantly find new or different ways to find it. So whether we want to use coal or oil or not, like, I'm not gonna stop driving a gasoline powered car. Toyota was the first car maker to make hybrid electric. They're not even really producing electric cars. They don't see a need. They're producing hydrogen cars. They're producing hybrid electric cars. They're producing, oh man, there's a falcon watching me. Hold on one sec, look at this. Oh, where's he going? Oh, he just flew away. He got camera shy. Sorry to get sidetracked. I love falcons. There he goes again. But so, Toyota isn't even producing electric vehicles. They, you know, they're the most advanced, in my opinion, automaker in the world. And they're not producing electric vehicles. There's a reason for that. They are testing like hydrogen powered vehicles. In California, you can get cars that you can't get anywhere else in the world that are hydrogen powered, which I do feel that is fairly cool, but the concept is it's still like an internal combustion motor. It's not an electric vehicle. So I'm not sure if I already discussed in this video, electric vehicles just don't store energy well. So this plant produces energy, and it's not like we store the energy in a battery. We're just constantly producing energy. Like I was discussing in the earlier bit, you're either producing energy from coal or nuclear power, and you're really just heating water to make steam to then rise through turbine blades that are spinning, and the spinning aspect produces energy. So yeah, you know, dams and hydroelectric, that's cool and all. I already discussed a little bit that solar energy, that's a huge myth. It's not green. You don't produce green energy from solar. You don't produce green energy from wind turbines. The wind turbines don't last long enough to be almost even profitable on the energy aspect. They can burn up, the blades get deteriorated. I mean, yeah, you could probably produce better wind turbines. It is blowing wind right now. You know, we could have a couple wind turbines somewhere, but there's a reason why my area doesn't have wind turbines. So let's talk about electric vehicles. This plant produces energy, and then what? You plug in your Tesla or whatever, and you're like, oh yeah, this is green. What are you, from like the 1800s, driving your steam locomotive or something? The energy stored is not even, it's not like real almost even. The Hummer, I don't know if you watch the Fast Lane truck, but they've been doing a lot of electric truck, you know, situation type, and they did the math, and even on the Hummer, it's equivalent to 6 gallons of gasoline. So you're driving around this massively inefficient vehicle that weighs, I don't know, almost 2.5 times more than my car right here. And this is a full-size luxury car, V8, and the Hummer weighs almost 2.5 times more. Now, I don't know if you know anything about efficiency, but the lighter and more aerodynamic the vehicle is, the more efficient the vehicle is. So people are just like stomping around, racing around in their Hummer, thinking that they're saving the environment, and they're driving a nuclear-powered or coal-powered vehicle. That is not efficient. That is not saving the environment. These electric vehicles, they last. A battery has a life cycle. I don't know if you've ever looked at your phone and looked at the battery usage history. My phone's like maybe 2 or 3 years old, and I have maybe 80% efficiency left on my battery. That means at best, when I charge my phone to 100%, it's 80% of what it was new. That's sad, you know? In 2 years or so, I'm gonna have to buy a new phone because the battery isn't going to last a normal day. I won't be able to use it as a GPS. Unless I have it constantly plugged in, I won't be able to use it. So an electric car is the same thing. A battery has a useful life cycle of about 1,000 charges. So by the time you get near 1,000 charges, the battery is done. There's nothing left of it. You cannot use it. And the car batteries, they have just hundreds, depending on the battery, they just have lots of little cells connected. Let's say one of those cells goes bad earlier than normal, done, you're done. There is no, oh, I'm gonna go tinker on it and work on it. This car, if it breaks or something goes wrong, I can work on it, and I'm not even a mechanic. I can just plug in a scanner and be like, oh, that's what's wrong with it. In the future, you're not going to be able to do that. You're not even going to be able to fix it. I don't know if you've watched Huby's Garage, but he bought a Tesla that was 10 years old, and it was absolutely worthless. He fixed it. Rich Rebuilds, like, put a new cell in it. Oh, it's fixed. It was still junk. It was still ruined. The old cells are still old. You can start putting in new cells, but that's just like putting a band-aid on just like a sinking ship. Like the water's still rushing into the thing. It's going down. So you get to a point where now we're about 10 years into this, oh, battery craze. We're gonna save the environment with our nuclear and coal-powered vehicles. But we don't even know the results of what we're doing yet. 10 years ago, people, like rich people, bought Teslas, and we're now just seeing the effects of what's going to happen in that situation. Who even knows what's going to happen? We're going to get to a point now where there's going to be a lot of electric vehicles that are absolutely useless. You buy an electric car and it sits outside, the sun deteriorates the battery because it's cooling it, the cold deteriorates the battery because batteries aren't meant to freeze. It's just, it's not right. And then you get told this lie that we're all going to be driving electric vehicles. No, we're not. The fact of the matter is, a standard just little electric car uses the same amount of energy as like 20, someone did the math already, but 25 refrigerators. Imagine a little house, every little apartment having 25 refrigerators. We will not be able to survive. A lot of people in California, it's hot, you know, they have electric cars, their grids go down, you know? I don't know if you watch any videos on Hurricane Ian. No one fleeing the state from the hurricane, no one fixing any of the power lines or anything. No one was driving an electric vehicle. So now let's take a moment to think about the future. What if Florida had just electric vehicles, you know, just a ton of, everyone had an electric vehicle, and then there's a saltwater storm surge. What do you think's gonna happen? The batteries are going to be under storm surge for days, and then what? We're gonna have batteries melting down into our water supply now? If a car gets stuck in water, everything's sealed up in the car. You might get water into the car, but, you know, and it's ruined, but you're not gonna ruin the environment over it. All right, so let's talk about the real kicker here now, and about money and what's really going on in reality. A generation or two ago, America's decided to stop backing its own currency with gold. We decided to make basically the petrodollar, where our money is backed by oil, which is an interesting concept. So that in itself is an explanation of why we will never stop using oil. Unless we develop a new currency, we are always going to be using oil. Car makers like Hummer and stuff, GMC, Rolls-Royce even, they're making electric cars. Rolls-Royce is now making the all-electric Spectre, which looks like, I don't know, the cheapest Rolls-Royce ever made. I don't know if Rolls-Royce, like Ford, has lost their marbles, but no rich person cares about the environment, saving money, you know, being hip or cool. Like, people buy Rolls-Royce because it's the nicest of the nice. They buy it because it has a V12 motor instead of, you know, a 4-cylinder, little econo box. So, you know, who in their right mind is going to buy an electric Rolls-Royce? It's going to have the same power system as now a cheap economy vehicle. Like, do you really think a rich person is like, oh, I'm going to plug in and save $20 a fill up? Do you really think a rich person who buys Rolls-Royce to just shoot across the country, like one drive, they're going to want to stop for an hour to fill up their electric vehicle? I don't think so. Do you think people are going to aspire to want to buy an electric vehicle? Not likely. Everything about it is just, you know, it's It's not thought through. Unless we develop a new way to produce batteries, you know, we're not going to be driving electric. The the Freightliners and those type of vehicles that are all electric that can only go 100 miles, no company's buying an electric Freightliner. No one, like I was discussing earlier, no one that was helping with the storm recovery in Florida, absolutely no one was driving an electric vehicle. No one was, you know, no one wants an electric vehicle. It's just, it's cool to think about, you know, the whole speed aspect. I remember when Tesla first started making electric cars and there was the Tesla Roadster. That's cool, you know, it's not like a utilitarian vehicle. I remember my dad's friend had one and we went like 80 miles an hour in his neighborhood, and there was someone like walking a dog going the same direction we were driving, and we just like slammed on the brakes and then just like cruised by them. They knew nothing about what was going on. That's cool, you know? As a secondary vehicle, that's cool, but I can't remember the last time I saw a Tesla Roadster on the road. I don't think there are any on the road because no one wants to replace a battery on one of those things. Like I said, most cars will only last 10 years, and we're just starting to now see the effects of what's really going on. I hope you found something useful in the video. I hope that, you know, you came to some understanding. I don't think having your Tesla running on the coal plant, I don't think that's the future, you know? And I have nothing against coal. I have nothing against nuclear energy, but when 90% of the energy in my city is produced from power plants, and then people want to say that they're efficient, their car's efficient, they're saving the environment. My car just takes energy and produces it into like motion. You produce energy and then you store it in a battery and then you go. Like I just, the thought process in that whole scenario is just, it's not thought out. Thank you for watching.